Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today's a late video because I forgot to make a video last night. I was too busy talking with Charlie London about her wonderful comic, and I just went to bed right afterwards. So there you go, late video. All right, so this is Avengers 227. This is 1982 Marvel comic. I love the corner box over there. I love when they do this with the covers. You know, they split it up and talk about this stuff. See, the new Captain Marvel test her powers. See the She-Hulk strut her stuff. See the Wasp take a lunch. See Henry Pym ponder his past. All in color for 6 times. I love that. Look at that. Look at all these women in comics that didn't exist back then. That's my running joke, and I'm sticking with it. I love this freaking cover. I love this cover. This cover is by Sal Buscema and Brett Breeding. Just a wonderful, wonderful comic. Classic Marvel. Love that. Okay, get some Cracker Jacks. Go see the Dodgers. And we already know the Adish, but let's take a look. Oh, that's my burrito. Avengers number 1, 227, 1983. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Look at that splash page. Look at that splash page. And look at this wonderful art. Amazing. This is just classic art. Oh, let's look at the credits then. Roger Stern, scripter. This was like his time. You know, he did a great run of the Avengers. This is a classic run of Avengers. Sal Buscema penciler, Brett Breeding inker. I think this is my favorite inker for Sal Buscema. I don't know what it is, but this just looks like Marvel art. Joe Rosen letterer, Christy Shield colorist, Mark Rudenwald editor, and Jim Shooter editor-in-chief. Wow, that Jim Shooter guy, he really did make the highest point in Marvel Comics history, if you ask me. And nobody asked me anything. Look at the splash page. Just splash page, opening page, one panel. We got all these Avengers over here. I love Thor and Iron Man over there. Look how shiny he is. We got the Wasp. She-Hulk being sexy, leaning on Hawkeye. Captain America, Captain Marvel. What does it say? The Ladies Adventure was originally featured in the Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 15. So she's brand new. She's right out of the box. She only had like a couple of appearances. And now they're taking her on as a provincial... is that the correct word? Provincial Avenger. So they're building this machine to test her powers. And then she flies off. And again, I'd like to point this out. This is 1983. We have a black woman named Captain Marvel, and everybody liked her. I cannot for the life of me think of anybody who was outraged or hated her or whatever. Again, I've said this over and over. The only thing I didn't like about her were these wing flaps. You know, I just didn't like the wing flaps. But you know what? I grew to like them to the point when they got rid of the wing flaps. I was like, oh man, that kind of was unique. So what does she do? She has no relations to Marvel. Marvel was the last person to call himself Captain Marvel. Marvel being the Kree warrior, the male Captain Marvel, who was played by Annette Bening, who's a spitting image of Marvel. You know, it's just amazing how much Annette Bening looks like a tall blonde male. But anyway, she gets the powers and she transforms into light, and she's flying and she's hitting a satellite. She's hitting another satellite. She's coming back as X-ray energy, and ta-da, she's like, she's back. You materialize it, right? You know, so they're like, wow, amazing. Verily, your powers are unlike any others. Yes, she had a cool power set. She had a cool costume, cool power set, and the name Captain Marvel. Now, unfortunately, the name Captain Marvel kind of like had to put out a Captain Marvel because they didn't want the name to lapse. The copyright or the trademark, I forget which legal term, but that's how Marvel acquired the name from DC Comics, who originally owned the name Captain Marvel. You know, they had Billy Bats and Shazam. So they're like, yeah, wow, we're going to let you on the team, you know, what is the word? A probationary. So they're going to let her in, and they're all happy. They're all cheered around. Look at floors, just details. I love it all. I love it all. And now she's what are they saying? Oh, the divorce papers. That's right. She's getting divorced from Henry Pym at this point, and they're all just like a little bit of dour on it. That's Jarvis the butler. He serves them bubble yum, and she's looking at the clock. She's got to go. What does she got to do? I got to chop, and she bing and flies away. And what's the matter? Robin Hood can't stand being around a few strong women. You know, he's constipated Hawkeye. Look at that great Captain America face. What did she say? Because Jen's growing into her role as the chairwoman. What? Captain Marvel's a black woman. Wasp is the leader. She-Hulk's the powerhouse. It's almost as if people in modern comics don't know what the F they're talking about. It's weird. It's totally weird. I don't know. What do you want me to say? Glad to hear you say that. She's cleaning up the equipment, being all sexy and flirty. And what is he yelling at? That's the thing. I'll never get used to have that big green broads challenge me to an arm wrestle every time I walk in the door. You know what it's like to? To heck with it. He was a hothead. No other way to describe it. He was a hothead. And there you go. They're all laughing at him and talking about serious stuff. Talking about Henry Pym. Remember, he's a founding member of the Avengers. Why are they talking about him? Because he had a mental breakdown. This was that bad period that everybody talks about. He had a mental breakdown, and he built like a robot and attacked the Avengers that he himself could only defeat to make himself look good. It's been established that he kind of had mental problems. So there you go. And then during this mental breakdown, he was like focused on his work, and Jan turned around and he reacted and slapped her. And everybody's like, he's a wife beater. Yeah, technically he is, but it's not like he was like, make me a sandwich, and beat her up. He was like focused, and then somebody tapped him on the shoulder and he kind of reacted because he was all on edge from his mental breakdown. But at the same time, it wasn't as bad because he was being framed by a lame villain called Egghead, but Egghead is presumed dead, so nobody believes him. And she wants to read about the original Captain Marvel because she's like, I just took the name was cool. She didn't have any, she's like, Captain Marvel's a cool name. I'm going to take the name Captain Marvel. Then they're like, oh, what do you mean? There was another Captain Marvel? So this was a strange period where Reed Richards and Sue Storm were kind of members, kind of not really members. So they were like living in the Avengers mansion at the time. So the Wasp is going to them for advice. She's trying to keep up appearances. She's really, really shattered and heartbroken. And now she's going to go visit Henry Pym in jail. Look at these people look. You see, this is, to me, a panel that shows like a time management of an artist. Sal Buscema was doing a bang-up job in the previous panels. What is wrong with my brain? And I think he did like these couple panels to save time to catch up. You're not too detailed. The people look good, but the backgrounds are kind of just lines. And he's just recounting everything. He's talking about everything that's going on. He's talking about his first wife, how he went berserk, and she was captured by like communists and killed, but then of course they never really showed the body, so that means that she's probably still around, kind of thing. Whatever. And I think they did bring her back. So he went berserk, and he behind the Iron Curtain and was like attacking everybody. And there he developed his shrinking rays. There's Egghead, a lame villain. Then he meets Janet, who what do they mention it over here? But she's like 15, 16, and he's like 30. And a lot of those May December romances in early Marvel. Reed Richards and Sue Storm, they were a May December. I'm trying to think. I know that there's more, but I guess life was different back then. And she becomes a sidekick and whatever. They form the Avengers. The origin of that. Now Spider-Man has a video game. He becomes Giant Man and ruins the house. He becomes Goliath. She's in her sexy bikini. He always had like a inferiority complex. They played him up as like the, originally it was just cool scientist guy and hot young sidekick. And that was the same as Reed Richards and the Invisible Woman. But then when Marvel Comics started to get really popular and they started to like realize that they had something important on their hands, they tried to differentiate the characters somehow. So Reed Richards and Sue Storm were the perfect couple. They had fights, but overall they were the perfect couple in the best-selling magazine, so that they were contrasted as the troubled couple. I kind of feel bad, but that's the way they are. He built Ultron, not Iron Man. Henry Pym built Ultron, and see what I mean about the backgrounds? I think Sal Buscema is just saving space. So now they get married. He got dosed with fumes and chemicals. I like this. Sometimes they retcon stuff and it makes sense. They said that he was bipolar personality, bipolar disorder, and it kind of works. It explains the it explains the differences in his personality. So now he became the Yellow Jacket, and we got ads. We got Thor over here. They got married while he was Yellow Jacket, and Yellow Jacket wore like a real cool superhero costume. I'm surprised they don't really show him with the swashbuckler boots and the cool gloves and everything like that, because he was like daring and braggadocious, because that's what he thought Jan wanted. Jan's flirty by nature, so of course she's flirting with Thor and Captain America. Could you blame her? Like, these people are amazing. And then he smashes everything when they have a fight. She's there to console him, and I love this comic. I should showcase this comic. He something happens to him. I forget exactly what, but he goes back to being Ant-Man and fights the Avengers and acts like he doesn't. He doesn't remember because he was under like a mental breakdown. This is Matt Murdock. He's telling his story. I showcased this comic. He took this time off to work on his own pursuits. Here's the Yellow Jacket costume. So here he is, being a jerk again, building robots that were attacking the Avengers. And he leaves, and now he's talking about how sorry he feels. He had mental breakdowns. He's like, but I didn't do it all. All the war stuff was really egghead. And Matt Murdock's like, he believes it, but then again, he's crazy. Look at Tony Stark. Look at Tony Stark. And bulletins. I always felt bad for that girl getting hit in the butt. Spider-Man hits a ball, hits her right in the butt. But what this was they used to have friendly rivalries. This was Marvel Pulpin versus the DC, and oh no, this is versus Warren, so that's Vampira. That makes sense. But they would have these all the time, and I remember once they made a big deal that Marvel beat the DC Bullpen, but this is them versus Warren. Oh wow, so Warren Comics is still in business. And ta-da, the Egghead's still alive. So, and there's She-Hulk. She like aggressively was hitting on Hawkeye. She just laid one on him in one of the issues. I forget exactly which issue it was, but that's what she did. They kind of retconned her, and it made sense that the gamma radiation, like, it kind of like makes you, like, releases your personality, and Wallflower Jennifer Walters became like a very uninhibited She-Hulk. And I want to look at the names. I always like to look at the names, see if I recognize anybody. Bud, Bessie, Diana. That must be fake because there's no women in comics. Okay, I don't know. And there we go. Oh wow, I love this. This is the Bill Willingham ad. Bill Willingham, who later went on to write Fables and draw Elementals. And the first couple of issues of Shadow Pack. So there you go. This was, this was what they call this, not a filler issue, but it is a filler issue. It's like between major story arcs. They do that every once in a while. Like, there's going to be a major story arc of Hank Pym going forward with his, like, insanity and his trial. So they need to set it all up. And the issue before this, they had a lot of daring do. So this is like a slow down period, a calm period before the storm. They usually do like one a year, at least they did back then. And, so this is a character-driven set up the plot issue rather than continue the story issue. And I kind of like them. They were a nice change of pace. So there you go. That's today's video. I got nothing else to report. This Sunday, I'll do Sunday Comics. I'll do the second issue of Days of Future Past. Tuesday at 8, I'm going to have a talk with Pete Sabetti of Alterna Comics. So that'll be for Tuesday. I know normally I do Wednesdays at 7, but this week I'll do Tuesday at 8 because that Pete already does a live streaming show. And, I'm flexible. So there you go. I'll see you guys around. And thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate every one of you. I'm stumbling with my words, so that's my clue to stop. Bye-bye.